Well, guys, I thought we were going to shit the bed on this one. I knew that was going to be the first time I was going to say. 2 times this game, I knew we were going to shit the bed on this one. But I will say, the second half performance from our team really is getting me hyped up a little bit. Because in the first half, it looked like we were down in the dumps. So I just want to start off with that. So, what's going on, guys? Nate the Boss here, coming back here with another Packer reactions video. I'm going to be giving my reactions to the Packers and the Rams. The Packers sneak out of the City of Angels with a 24-19 W. So, I will say, like I said in my intro, I knew, sorry, excuse my stuttering. The first half did not look so good. It just felt like we were just caught up and had our head in our asses and making some foolish mistakes, and the run defense was getting absolutely gashed. And Jordan Love makes the stupidest throw of his life. And I mean, I get it. He was trying to avoid the safety and all, but it actually kind of turned out pretty good in the end because Rams missed the extra point, and 2, if the Rams got the safety, they would have gotten 2 extra points had they driven down. So I had to think about that from a mathematical standpoint. So, but I mean, I think Jordan Love was just trying to do too much in the first half, and Jordan Love was just having a hard time in the first half. Let's just put it that way. But I will say that drive at the end of the first half gave me a little bit of confidence. It gave me a little bit more confidence going into the second half. I know it wasn't pretty, but I was fucking hesitant. I was worried that Narveson was going to sell and miss yet another field goal. But he didn't. He did not. And I'm like, thank God, because we needed something positive going in the locker room. We come out, we get a stop at the beginning of the first. No. It was the fumble recovery. That kind of sparked the momentum, and then the Tucker Kraft touchdown. I mean, that play was beautifully designed. I saw I was watching the game on my computer. That play was just designed beautifully. Cover 3, Tucker Kraft was all by himself, and just a walk-in touchdown for Tucker Kraft. That's when I started feeling good. And then the Xavier McKinney interception, just fucking incredible, man. I think he has my vote for Defensive Player of the Year, and he's making the Pro Bowl and first team All-Pro. I'm calling it right now in Week 5. Unless if he gets injured, God forbid. But still, Xavier McKinney is playing at an all-pro level, and it looks like he is worth the free agency signing. And, I didn't really know too much about Xavier McKinney. I know he's a second-round pick, but he is just on another level right now. 5 picks in 5 games, 1 in each game. That is just unheard of. And at this rate, he could be breaking Night Train Lane's 14 interception record. And that happened before the Dallas Cowboys and the Minnesota Vikings were even a thing. It was the 1950s, and Night Train Lane was just a fucking goon back then. And I mean, I'm sure my grandpa watched him during his time. I wish I could ask him if he ever watched Night Train Lane play, but he was a fucking beast. He was like the Wilt Chamberlain of that time, although Wilt Chamberlain was the late 50s, early 60s. Different time periods, but let's just put it Night Train Lane was just a fucking animal back then. And quarterbacks weren't really that polished, and the passing game wasn't really popular. It was more of a run-heavy kind of league up until Dan Marino and Dan Fouts kind of brought the revolution in the late 70s. And, well, yeah, but let's not talk about NFL history. Let's just keep on talking about the game. Another methodical drive, Tucker Kraft touchdown. Very impressive drive by the Packers. They go up 24-13. We get a stop. We bleed out the clock a little bit. Pretty impressive. But then I saw some shades of the Joe Barry defense on the Rams' next touchdown drive. Just the soft coverage bullshit. I mean, that is just unacceptable. You got to press the receivers at some point. I mean, it's okay if you let him if you keep him in bounds and stuff, but, like, you can't let him get out of bounds, especially inside of 5 minutes, because the fourth quarter timing rules are like, if you go forward out of bounds, it stops the clock inside of 5 minutes. But then we'll talk about another missed call from Brett Allen. I will say, just as a no context kind of moment, Brett Allen relatively officiated a good game today. I saw Brett Allen was the ref, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm worried that Brett Allen's gonna fuck up one for us, because they almost did that to the Packers against the Chiefs. And yes, I was at that game. And yeah, I thought Brett Allen, my feelings told me Brett Allen was just gonna fuck us this game. But I just don't understand how he's still employed after what he did last year. That's like something I really don't understand. But then, and then we start marching down the field, and then a few self-inflicted wounds, and then we punt. I mean, I was hoping we continue methodically moving the ball and get a touchdown and pretty much put this thing on ice. All right, I'm backtracking a little bit. So then we give up a cheap touchdown. We stop them on the 2-point conversion, which is probably the best play our defense made that drive, just to be, like, completely honest with you. And then the Packers failed to milk out some clock, and maybe milked out me like 40 seconds or so. But I just think the play calling really wasn't the greatest in that situation. I just would have kept giving Josh Jacobs the ball. But then the Rams are just like, you know what? I know what you're fucking... Like, Sean McVay is probably like to Matt LaFleur. I'm like, Matt, I know you have my number, but I have your number too. So, and we'll talk about that later on. But, yeah, failure to run out the clock, just unacceptable. And then we played a little bit of Joe Barry defense on the Rams side of the field. But then once we got into their territory, that's when the defense fucking stood up. We blitzed him, put some pressure on Matt Stafford. He could have had maybe like a 10, 15-yard pickup to Tutu Atwell, but I forget who it was. It was either like McDuffie or Quay Walker. I don't remember. But got a little pressure on Stafford, and no, it was Kenny Clark. It was Kenny Clark who got through, and he disrupted that play like crazy. And I thought Keyshawn, if he completed that, I'm like, Keyshawn Nixon, what the fuck, man? But thank God we got a little bit of pressure, and we started to, even with the 4-man rushes, Preston Smith was able to get home, and fucking Preston Smith out of all people. So 4th and 3, I thought maybe there was a little bit of a bang kind of moment on 4th and 3, but we stood them up, and I am very impressed. I thought we were just going to have another one of those pitiful collapses, and just a part of another one in the long book of Wisconsin sports choke jobs. But defense stood up, and then we were able to kneel out the clock. But overall, I think, Jordan Love was a mixed bag throughout. I did like that early completion early on. I just really think that was like the only big highlight of the first half, because our run defense was getting gashed, and Jordan Love and like the offense wasn't executing. Let's just say the first half was frustrating. And now let's make it official. Matt LaFleur definitely has Sean McVay's number, because ever since Matt LaFleur became the coach of the Packers, he hasn't lost to the Rams and Sean McVay. Even in the toughest of circumstances, he's still beaten the Rams, especially today without having Romeo Doubs, Christian Watson, and Jair, and Devontae Wyatt too. We were down a lot of people, but we definitely came through, and I'm very impressed with how we finished this game. In the second half, it was just really impressive, except like maybe like especially those two the adjacent drives with when we gave up the touchdown and couldn't finish out the game and just run the clock out. But overall, pretty good game. Pretty good second half. The first half just was absolutely bogus. I just was so mad at the performance, especially before the field goal. But we're now 3-2. I know the NFC North is just going to be an absolute gauntlet this year with the Bears. The Caleb Williams played fucking incredible today, and granted it was against the Panthers. I mean, the Panthers have probably the greatest locker room in the NFL right now, and the worst owner in the NFL right now. But Caleb Williams, with him improving, and the Vikings, they beat the Jets. Jets definitely shot themselves in the foot a lot today. And then the Lions, I'm pretty sure they had the week off this week, so they're 3-1 right now. So it's gonna be a tough road ahead. We got the Cardinals next week, who somehow pulled off the upset against San Fran, and I think the Cardinals, they made a statement against the Bills, like, hey, we're legit, come on. And they lost by 6 to the Bills. And then they crushed the Rams on their home turf. And then they struggled the next 2 games. And then they upset the 49ers because the 49ers made some silly mistakes and they didn't have a kicker. So they definitely had some problems. The 49ers had a little bit of extenuating circumstances, and Cardinals just pulled off the upset. So I think the vibes in their locker room are pretty high right now. So it's going to be a tough one next week. Like I always say. I don't know if I always say that, but... And then we also got the Texans, which I'm going to that game. They've been phenomenal. They almost choked today against the Bills. They're 4-1 now, if I ain't tripping. So, I mean, it's good to get back in the win column, but at the same time, we got to keep moving forward and clean up the mistakes. So, yeah. Anyways, that's all I got in this video, guys. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. Like and subscribe. Go Pack, go.